There's something about Arsenal right now that keeps being judged the wrong way. People are talking about depth, about rotation, about individual performances. But once you look at Arsenal through the right lens, a lot of those debates stop making sense. Because this isn't really a conversation about quality, it's a conversation about cohesion and what happens when it disappears, even in elite teams. Most people assess teams through surface markers. Who played well? Who struggled? Whether the squad looks deep enough. But that only tells you what happened, not why it happened. Arsenal are a great example of this. On paper, the squad is deep. In reality, what's been missing at times is not talent, but continuity. And football punches the absence of continuity far more harshly than people realize. This video isn't about formations, it's not about individual errors, and it's not about whether certain players are good enough. It's about how elite teams actually use depth, because every team is built around a trade-off. Arsenal's trade-off is simple: maximum collective control in exchange for minimal margin when cohesion breaks. Depth doesn't exist in isolation, it only works when it's plugged into a stable base. You see Arsenal at their best when the core is stable. Instead of rotating widely, they make one or two changes. That protects familiarity, distances, timing, habit. It allows players to wrap into the collective. That protects control and it elevates everyone around them. But when injuries force multiple changes at once, the logic breaks. Instead of continuity with small variation, you get new relationships everywhere. That protects availability, but limits cohesion. Pressing becomes half synchronized. Decision making becomes cautious. Nothing collapses, but nothing flows either. This is where people get it wrong. Instead of asking how the collective is functioning, they isolate individuals. Instead of recognizing unfamiliar partnerships, they judge moments. But backups aren't designed to replace the system, they're designed to support it. Put one in a stable team and the difference is very noticeable. Change half the team and suddenly the same player looks indecisive. There's another layer people ignore. Even when players return, they don't instantly return to rhythm. Sharpness isn't binary, it's timing, confidence, anticipation. That's why players can look fluent on one math and slightly off the next, without their level changing at all. Arsenal haven't lost quality, they've lost flow. This is why Arsenal are still one of the hardest teams to beat in Europe. Structure protects them, control limits chaos, and it's also why at times they can look less dominant than expected. Because control without cohesion turns into caution. Neither outcome is accidental. They are two sides of the same design. Other teams solve this differently. Some accept instability in exchange for spontaneity. They rotate freely and live with inconsistency. Others lock into a rigid core and minimize change entirely. Arsenal sit in between, but lean heavily toward continuity. That's why injuries hurt them in a specific way. Not because they lack depth, but because they value relationships over interchangeability. There is no perfect model, only choices. The real question isn't whether Arsenal's approach works. It clearly does. The question is what happens when continuity returns. When the same 8 or 9 players start week after week. When rotation becomes optional again, not forced. That's when Arsenal stop feeling slightly restrained and start feeling inevitable. So no, Arsenal aren't underperforming. They are revealing what they value. Control, structure, collective clarity, and once you understand that, the noise fades. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe.